All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you and welcome to the Unlocking Automation webinar. We are just going to give people a couple more minutes to trickle in and we will get started from there. As we get started, we start with a poll. Just a little icebreaker poll. So really curious, if you were to be in trivia, what would be the subject that you really could answer all the questions at trivia, whether it's like history, pop culture, things like that, movies, anything that is any of the other answers, please share in the chat. Cool. Pop culture is winning. Cool. Or was, anyways. Sports, racing puppies. Very niche. Musical theater. That would be one I'd be terrible at, to be part of your trivia team. So it's good to have a balanced team. Cool. One more minute and we can get started. No one would be good at history. I think that is a very special kind of trivia partner, but necessary. All right. My son for history, he's not here. Okay. Cool. Okay, we can go ahead and get started. So hello and welcome, and thank you for joining our Unlocking Automation webinar, hosted by Veronica and Dennis from our Customer Success and Professional Services team here at AppFollow. So during today's session, we will discuss what you can accomplish using automation and the impact automation can have on your business, as well as your workflow. At the end of the session, we'll leave time for a Q&A. So throughout the webinar, just please submit your questions in the chat. We will try and answer as many questions as we can. And following the webinar, we will share the recording and our compiled Q&A in our community Slack channel. If you haven't already joined our community Slack channel, it's linked above. You can join there. Okay, and I will start the session with one more poll and then hand it off to Dennis and Veronica. So let me just... So when it comes to using automation, we are just kind of curious how you feel about using automation. I think sometimes we forget how much of a workflow is automated because it goes so unnoticed, which is the point. So how do you feel about automation? Some people are more hands-on and some people just like to have a mix of automated tasks. And a lot of times there's curiosity about how automation would work. It's really the bulk of our attendees. We look forward to how to automate workflows, which is great. Totally Aaron, when human motion is involved. All right. Well, we'll cover that in today's session. I'm going to hand it over to Veronica and Dennis to get things started.
Thanks, Colleen.
Thanks. Okay, let me share the screen first and Veronica will start. Oops, okay. Okay, Veronica, please let me know if everything looks right. Crystal clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can see the screen. Thanks for sharing. So We have a truly collaborative webinar here, and let's get started without any further ado. So what do we have on our agenda today? We'll start with the automation opportunities for your organization, speaking about what capabilities of AppFollow you can use for that. Then we'll continue about why it's important to consider the goals of writing a review in the first place, and then, of course, replying to those reviews. We'll speak about the benefits of automation tools and about how to get started with your automation strategy. We'll give you some tips and pieces of advice on that. We'll follow up with ways to assess the value and the impact of automation. And finally, we'll address some common concerns that we've seen and that we've heard, and we'll speak about that. We'll address your questions in the chat throughout the meeting in written format, or at the end of this webinar, we'll also be discussing the questions. So please don't hesitate to share anything you want to ask about or any comments. So starting with automation opportunities for your organization, we have three main tools in the platform that you can leverage to automate different processes. First of all, auto replies. They allow you to reply to most reviews automatically and as fast as possible. You or with our help or individually build the rules, and once the rules for auto replies are built, they basically function and post replied by themselves with little to no control, depending on how you prefer it. Number two, auto tags. So they allow you to understand the voice of customer better and analyze reviews with more accuracy, define the trending topics for the reviews you receive, the categories to share with other teams in your company who might be interested in that. And number three, report a concern. This is a feature that allows you to automatically send reports to the stores to delete spam reviews, offensive or nonsense reviews.
Okay, then let's move on with the goals of writing a review or applying to reviews. So here you can see like both like sides of both the reviewers of your app, like the users of your app, and how you can respond to these needs. Here, the main 3 points that we find out is like the first one from the point of the user is they want to be heard when they're writing a review and leaving a review, especially the negative review or long review. And like from your side, from the app publisher, for the support team side, you should listen to your customers and like try to collect these feedbacks and hear it, and like both try to respond to this feedback and trying to improve like the customers satisfaction, the customers experience. The second goal is from the user side, is to point out a problem, some bug that need to be fixed or something else, or like some thing that can be improved. And for you is to identify the solution, and then probably also let these users know that the bug was fixed, or like some new feature that was very needed was introduced or something else. And the last one is to ask for what you want next. That what users usually do, and like usually when we're automating the reviews, it's one of the main topics that we're trying to cover are the feature request, because some of the teams like trying to look only for them, like using the auto tags and auto replies only to find out like what are the feature requests for their certain products. And so from the side of the app owner, app publisher, is to meet and exceed customer expectations in terms of the once again of the customer experience and like the features they are requesting. And like the main point here, that the reviews automation improves these outcomes exponentially, because like using both auto tags and auto replies, you can cover much more reviews, you can respond to much more reviews, and like if you will do that right, will get the right settings of your auto rules. This automation, this automated replies and especially can be very accurate and like looks like the real person's voice, like the voice of your company.
Now let's speak about the benefits of the automation tools. We will start with the why part. Why automating reviews management at all? You can, of course, tag and reply to reviews as well as report to concerns manually or automatically. The choice between these two options is primarily based on the amount of reviews you receive on a daily basis and the available resources of the support team to cover those. However, this is not the only factor, and we'll also see now more factors that can push you towards trying automation. That can be a good argument in favor of it. So when the automation can be useful. First of all, support team or the product team just doesn't have capacity to reply to all negative reviews that are lower than 3 stars, sometimes lower than 2 stars. And you don't want to spend resources on the routine tasks, replying to very short reviews, thank you notes, or we hate this app notes. This is something that the automation can cover very easily. Then another reason why trying automation can be that the average reply time that you have currently is more than 24 hours. So, of course, it needs to be measured first. You need to assess the situation. Usually, we've seen, based on the statistics, how the clients, how users change their replies. The faster you reply, the more likely it is that the clients, if they're more or less satisfied with what you're proposing them in the reply section, they will upgrade the rating of the review. So it is important to keep it within the frame of 24 hours. And of course, automation can help with that when you have limited support resources and a huge volume of reviews. Then support team can't reply to reviews of specific languages. This is also an important one. So in case your application is available for users speaking multiple languages, it's available in different regions on the store. It is important, and the industry recommendation is to try to address the review in the original language. So if this is not possible and you only have agents speaking 1 or 3 languages, in order not to force them to use Google Translate or any other tools all the time for all incoming reviews, it's possible to set automated rules that would reply to those reviews. So it can be done in basically any language. And finally, the product team needs to categorize the most popular topics and issues in apps reviews. This is something really important because we all know that transferring and prioritizing bug fixes, issue fixes is not always evident. And you need to have the proofs that it is important to address a certain problem in the product. And in order to provide the information about that, you need to show, for example, the amount of reviews received about that, or the ratings of those reviews if they're really low. So automating tagging allows you to do that very easily without spending hours on manually calculating how many reviews about that you received. Now let's switch to kind of a summary of the benefits of the automation tools. So first one, speed, accuracy, and consistency. I think speed doesn't need a comment about that. The rule is in place. Within AppFollow, after a review is received, usually within 20 minutes, the reply is already applied to a review. So it's really fast, and it's based on the rules you have selected. And this is linked to the accuracy also. The initial rule setting is all done by humans. It's not something that only artificial intelligence would offer. So something that might not be really consistent with the where the reply will not be very consistent with the review. No, it's always humans who analyze reviews you receive, who analyze keywords that are there, or ratings, or other parameters of the review, and based on that, kind of craft the rules manually. Only the delivery is automated, so a high level of accuracy is usually expected. Then another benefit is gaining insight into the areas of improvement and overall operations efficiency. When you start setting automations, you also see how your manual replies are performing, whether you need to speed it up if you notice the reply time is really long. So allowing you to balance between manual work and automated work allows you also to analyze that and apply some changes, positive changes right away. Finally, number 3, make a smart decision to enhance app performance proactively. We've mentioned that before. It is super useful to have all the topics of the reviews you have categorized, and allowing you to modify your app performance for good. So the faster you have an understanding of what is a major problem, what is a minor problem, judging by the amount of claims you receive about that, the faster it is to change it. Improve customer satisfaction and experience. This one sometimes can be measured, sometimes it is a bit harder, but we'll speak about the metrics in a bit. When you engage with clients, this usually creates some customer loyalty. When people are heard, when you react to the feedback that you leave, they are usually at least a little bit happier than they were before. Sometimes it translates to the rating changes. Sometimes you just create a better image for your company and application on the web and in the stores. So that's why helps to improve this point. And finally, automate a routine task, create more engaging tasks for employees. So automating routine tasks and removing a repetitive template sending task from support team allows them to focus on more complex cases, potentially grow professionally as they do so, as they investigate those problematic situations that automation cannot cover. And at the same time, you can save costs if it allows you to keep the number of support agents that you have, not grow it, not create additional, not hire additional people, but cover some of their work with the automation. And with that, I'm passing the microphone to Dennis.
Yeah, thanks. Then let's talk about something more practical now. How we can get started with our automation strategy. And here we will show you a few recommendations, a few examples, a few practical advices from our side, from me and from Veronica and from our professional services team. So the first question usually is where to start, like which reviews we should start with, because usually the best probably way and like the usual way to introduce automation in your review management process is to start with some part of the reviews, like to select certain reviews that you want to start with to see like how this process looks about automation, how well it's working for you, how accurate your auto rules are, at the moment, like how accurate are your replies or your text and so on. So where to start, we proposing a few different reviews that we're usually starting with. So the first one is pretty obvious, is low star reviews, because like by working with these reviews, you have a better first you're addressing like and responding to the negative feedback from your customers. Usually it's more like crucial, and these users are waiting for the feedback, I would say more. And the second one is like replying to these reviews will can have a better effect on, for example, on the review rating, on the semantics, on the updating of these reviews with the higher rating of the review itself. Then there can be the featured reviews, because like these are the most visible reviews both in the App Store and the Google Play. So responding to that is like it's a must do for I will say for all the apps, especially if there are any once again negative featured reviews. So responding to that is our one of the main recommendations there. Then like deciding on the topics, like if you have a few specific topics where you're getting a lot of negative reviews, if there are some specific bugs, if there are specific like trending topics or like common issues inside your game or the app, this one should be addressed. And like, or for example, you're getting a lot of reviews that you can't respond, for example, manually, then you can create the auto reply for that kind of reviews and like replying to them automatically. For example, if you will say that, yeah, we know about like this problem about the bug, for example, we will fix it in this amount of day, or we'll fix it and we'll let you know about that. Then the next one is short reviews. It can be applied both to the negative and positive reviews. So, for example, less than 7 words, less than 5 words, you can select it by yourself. This length of the reviews. So usually they doesn't contain anything except like some emotional response to your app. So it can be both positive or negative. So this reviews definitely can be responded automatically, because it's like usually these users don't spend too much time on the reviewing. Usually, as I've said, like it's more about emotion of feedback to your app. And the last one is like that what was Veronica was talking about before, is like reporting concern for spam and offensive reviews. That's what we also like, the recommendations that you can I would say implement just right now, just from this moment, because like trying to delete these reviews using like this reporting a concern, like sending this application to the App Store, Google Play moderation, just to delete these reviews if they are using offensive language, or they're like just some kind of spam that is getting to your reviews feed. So that's where we recommend to start with the automation strategy. Then the second point usually is like when you're creating the auto reply. There is like one of the last settings there is to choose like what the publication mode of the reply will be, if it will be approval or auto posting. So here in this table, I showed like what is the difference will be. So with approval mode, you personally or your support agents will approve each of the replies in the reviews feed. So you will check how the reply matched the review. If it's okay, then you will publish it. But if you have too much reviews, or you like spend a few days, a few weeks to check like how accurate these auto replies are working and they are accurate, you can change it to auto posting mode. So all the auto replies will send instantly to the reviewer or to the store moderation after the review will be published. So once again, we recommend starting with approval mode, especially for the longer reviews, and then move into the auto posting mode for short and 5-star reviews. And the third recommendations from our side to use like the features and like the materials that we have in AppFollow. So the first one is templates library. It's available for both for the auto reply templates and also for the replies itself. So you can use them to start. We have like specific templates for bugs, for example, for freezes of the app, for feature requests, for something else. You can check it like in the menu of the AppFollow. There are a few templates that you can just like add to your account, activate them, and they will work from that point. And the second thing that we wanted to recommend is to use template variables. That's where using automated reviews, you still will use like the username of the reviewer the real username of the reviewer. It will be added automatically if you will use this template variables. It also will make your auto replies more personalized, and also from our perspective, it also helps a lot, like in the influence, like the reviewers, like I would say mood or something like that, like their feedback on your auto replies.
Now let's speak about how to assess the value and impact of automation. So you want to measure whether it has brought you some positive impact. Let's see how it can be done. We would suggest the following metrics that you can easily track with an AppFollow. First one, ratio of tagged reviews, and it can be seen in the tags chart. Later on in the following slides, we'll show you how those tools look like. But as a metric, ratio of tagged reviews basically allows you to see how many reviews are covered with a tag. You can dive into each tag category and review how accurate the tagging is. The higher the coverage of reviews by automation, by auto tagging is, the better. And of course, if it's a low coverage, it just gives you an insight into the fact that you need to work on the auto tagging rules. Then the number of deleted reviews. This is something that can be tracked in the automation performance tab also. Let's see it in the next slides. The more concerns you report, the more of them will be deleted if they really correspond to the sections of concerns in the stores, such as offensive language in the reviews, spam reviews, or nonsense. You will be able to check and follow how many concerns you have sent versus how many concerns were actually satisfied and reviews deleted as a consequence of that. Then a couple more metrics, reply time and reply effect. So especially these two, I think, are important when you are in doubt whether to use automation for certain topics or review categories, or keep it manual. Reply time will allow you to quickly see how much time it took before the reply was submitted and published, and you can compare it to how it was with manual responses. And then reply effect is a great metric. It's something that allows you to see how the review changed after it received an auto reply. So this way you can also measure the reaction of your clients, the reaction of people who post reviews to automation. If they don't like it, if they found it robotic, or if they're not satisfied with the answers you provide, they will decrease the rating sometimes, or they will increase it if they're happy that you engage in a conversation with them and potentially provide a solution via auto replies. So this is a great metric to keep in mind. And then the other KPIs and metrics you can find on the dashboard is the average review rating. You can see how it changes. You can see its dynamics, whether the fact that you engage a lot with the clients using automation impacts it, whether the fact that you are tagging your reviews and potentially providing more information to product teams, allowing them to fix things faster and to prioritize them better, changes what kind of reviews people leave in the stores. Then ratio of replied reviews. Once again, it's a quantitative metric showing you what is the coverage of how many basically reviews you have replied to. We always recommend, when there is a capacity to reply to 100% of reviews, that makes sense. So of course, all the spam and all the offensive language was deleted and reported to the stores. Now, depending on the volume and depending on your strategy, covering negative reviews, covering all the reviews, automation allows you to increase that ratio and that reply share significantly without investing a lot more resources. So you will see that number growing. And then the average star rating also can be seen on the dashboard. This is the rating you see in your application, in the application before you decide to install it. It is important to note that automation can influence on that, but the impact is relative. It's going to be an important metric for reviews, for applications with a low amount of reviews. However, if you have a high volume of users and a high volume of nodes, this may not be, you may not notice such a significant change in this number. So the earlier you are in the application lifecycle, the more impact you working on the reviews may have on this metric. However, if the application is already, it has been on the market for a while, you have a lot of clients that are rating it already, expecting automation to change that number may not be a good idea. And then all this, all these metrics, tracking, all the rule setting for automation, this is something that you can do on your own if you're willing to. We have instructions how to do that, some pre-built examples in the tool as well. But of course, we also have our professional services team that can actually help you build it, sometimes build it for you, and instead of you taking that work from you and only showing you the results and instructing you how to keep it working well. So we've enumerated the metrics. Let's just have a sneak peek on how it looks like. The first one, tags chart, showing you the stats of automatic reviews management and the tagging. Here you can see an example showing you how many reviews you got, how many of them received manual tags. You'll also see how many reviews were automatically tagged here, the most popular tags. And then this pie chart that you see is clickable, and you can dive deeper into each section of the tags to see the examples. Then the automation performance tab will show you the general statistics about how many auto replies were generated, how many were posted, what we've mentioned earlier, how many concerns you've reported, and how many of those were satisfied. And also it shows you an interesting metric, automation score. Here it's 41%, something that you can potentially automate. 41% here means 40%, 41 of the replies that are posted are done by automation. The rest is manual replies. And let's see the agent performance one. This is going to be interesting for the teams that decide to select a hybrid way of managing the reviews, because it shows you the list of metrics for your agents and also the same metrics for the automation. So you can see how many replies are posted by everybody, how much time it took to reply to a certain review in the first reply time, and then reply effect also something you can easily see here and compare automation versus manual replies. And final one that we've mentioned, the dashboard shows you the information about the ratings, reviews, the dynamics of it, and it shows you also general information about about the reply share, how many reviews you reply to, whether there is a reply effect at all, and yeah, the modifications of the rating over time.
Okay, thanks. Let's then move on to one of the last parts, is common concerns, the one that we collected from our users, from our clients, the one that we are meeting the most, hearing the most from the different companies. So we chose like the 4 main one, and then probably we can move on to the questions. Like if we have some in chat, like maybe this, we also will see a few concerns about the automation, a few questions there. Okay, then let's talk about the concern and the solution from the AppFollow side. So the first one is some users, some companies are afraid of their own reply being published. So as I've said, like in the previous slides, auto replies and their rules like are flexible and adjustable, so you can use approval mode to reply to review before posting it, before publishing. And as I've said, like we also recommend in doing that, starting with the approval mode and then moving into the auto posting one, especially like for the short reviews and maybe also to the 5-star reviews. So the second concern that some companies support, especially like support teams, don't want to sound robotic, and it's very understandable. But here, like the messaging and strategy is human design, and like the delivery is automated there. So first, like as I've also shown, like you can use template variables to decrease repetitions. Also, you can create as many reply templates as you want, and like they will be selected randomly, so there won't be like the same reply to the 100 reviews of the same topic. So you can vary like also vary different reply templates to do that, or like change them like once in a few months, for example, to make them to look different. So it's also can be easily solved using AppFollow. So the third one is job security. So team leaders do not want to replace their employees with automation. So it's also what Veronica already like covered, is like that providing team members with more engaging and complex work while automation will cover standard scenarios, because still usually in most cases when we're not covering 100% of reviews. Sometimes we recommend trying to automate and automatically reply, for example, to the reviews, to short reviews, maybe the reviews of the languages where our team, like our support engines, can reply with. And so for the more complex problems and for the more complex reviews, like longer reviews, you can still reply to them manually and like spend more time like on the automation strategy, on the review management strategy in general. So like it can work well for both parties, like for our automation tools and like for the support team or product team from the other side. And the last one is some apps don't have that many reviews, or they are only reply to the low star reviews. So as I've said, is also covered, like by leveraging automation, by using it, you can achieve a 100% reply rate, improve your customer experience, and consequently your review rating. So yeah, like still, like for in some cases when you have enough like capacity of your team to reply to the reviews, you can surely do it manually, also using AppFollow. But still, like if in some time, if you can spend some time on other tasks that can be maybe where you can be more useful, and like instead our automation tools will tag all the reviews for you, and like will reply to some of the simplest and like usual reviews. It will also can work great, as we see from the experience of the other teams and clients. Okay, thank you. And then I think let's move on to the questions in chat if we have any, because I can't see it right now. So Veronica, can you help me with that?
I can't help you with that because there are no questions. So you guys don't hesitate to share anything. Maybe if you can relate to the concerns Dennis mentioned, also let us know. It's really interesting to see what's important for you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Veronica and Dennis, for hosting an amazing webinar. Really great content, and I hope everybody on the who registered enjoyed the content we shared today and our conversation. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes before we have any questions, but in the meantime, we have one more poll. We would really love your feedback as to how you enjoyed today's session. So we do have one question about any best practices for automation. Veronica, Dennis, did you have any feedback on that?
Let me go first. In terms of best practices, I would divide them into two parts here, strategy-related best practices and really technical best practices. Strategy-related, what to reply to in the first place, what to automate in the first place. It really depends on your application. So if you would love, for example, to have some tips how to automate it for you, maybe let us know, and we can organize kind of an audit for you to see what reviews you receive the most, because without the context it would be difficult, but something that is relevant to a team that hasn't tried automation at all yet is to launch the first auto-replying and auto-tagging rules for something really simple, like very positive reviews containing short wording, containing only positive feedback, so that you see how it works, you see whether it fits, and then going to more complicated topics. Or if you have very specific bugs and very specific issues with the keywords you also know about and that are often used, it can be that. In terms of technical stuff also, I would recommend anything Dennis has mentioned it. We have templates. You can use the templates that you create on your own, but we also have within AppFollow a section called Templates Library. And not only you have there the suggestions for the replies, the text, you also have there some pre-built rules that you can use. So you can start with that one, and then if you need help, just don't hesitate to message us, and yeah, we'll be able to provide that help. Dennis, do you want to add something?
Yeah, maybe one more thing that like you covered it pretty well, but like maybe the last thing that I will add, like when we are creating like the list of words and phrases that should be in the replies, should be in the reviews for specific topics like bugs or feature requests. We have these templates, but also the one thing that should be mentioned that we have like first we have the auto translation feature in AppFollow, where all your reviews can be translated, for example, into English or in the languages that you're using. And then you can use this translation feature also in the auto replies. So you can add like all the English keywords, but we will look for them in the translated versions of the reviews. So for example, if you don't know Japanese or some Asian languages, some other languages, but you have this list of the keywords that you're looking for in the reviews and want to respond to them or want to tag them, so you can use these conditions in your outer roles, and like and languages in this and the reviews in these languages will be covered with the automation. Colleen, I think you are muted.
Oh, thank you. One question from Diana: is it possible to set up on this automation when using integration ticketing tools like Zendesk? It's a great question. So, how does automation tools work with Zendesk, basically?
Veronica, maybe you know better.
Sure. Yes, Zendesk is a great example, and I'm glad you asked about this one, because this is our most developed integration with the help desk system. So you can decide what rules are going to be applied within AppFollow and what kind of tickets are going to be handled by the automation. And if a ticket receives an automated reply within AppFollow, a review, it is not sent to Zendesk, not to populate your queue there, not to load your agents and create unnecessary noise, let's say. So you can already, on the level of managing automations, decide which topics are going to be covered by it and which topics you would prefer to receive in Zendesk for the agents to cover. Very common scenario would be some difficult topics or extremely low rating to be sent to Zendesk, for example, or longer tickets to be sent to Zendesk.
Great. And one question. Can the automation reply based on some certain trigger words? If the automation reply takes place as soon as a reply comes in, wouldn't it look like a kind of bot is replying to the query? So if it's an automatic reply, how does that work when you don't want to come across like a bot is replying? And also, can the reply be based on certain trigger words?
Okay, I can reply to that then. So yeah, so like about like the trigger words, that's how they're working. Like that's one of the conditions that is added. So usually this like the keywords that should be should the review should contain or shouldn't contain. These are like one of the main conditions that we're using. Usually first it's language, then most of the time it's the review rating, and the third one is like the keywords or the phrases that should be in this review. So we will auto tag that or we'll auto reply to that review. So as I've said, like you can add both like words and phrases that should be or shouldn't be in this review. And when the second question about like the quickness of the reply. So like first of all, we won't reply it like in 1 second, like in a minute, because first of all, I think there is like we are checking like an auto reply to the reviews once. I would say definitely, but like once in 10 minutes, one in 15 minutes, I would say something like that, or maybe even 30 minutes for all the reviews that are getting in this time period that the app is getting. And the second one is that in some in the I'm not sure in the App Store, in the Google Play, Veronica, maybe you remember where there is moderations right now, where first like the reply is going to the moderation first, then it's checked, and then it's also only going to the reviewer.
I don't remember, to be honest. I think it's Google Play, but I'll need to confirm that.
Yeah, I also think so, but I'm not 100% sure at the moment.
Great. We'll get some follow-up on that. It's a great question.
Yeah.
Just give a couple more questions coming in, it looks like. One question that came in was if we can share the presentation afterwards. I know the recording gets sent out via Livestorm, but we can certainly send the presentation as well. What we're encouraging is for all of our registered guests to go join our Slack channel, and we can post the presentation there as well. Where is the pricing available? So we would have to connect Diana, you to the sales team, and I'm happy to do that following this presentation. Great. Just give it a few more moments. So if there's no more questions and everybody had the opportunity, oh, looks like one more might be coming through. Just thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for attending. We really appreciate you taking the time to connect with us, and we encourage you to look out for our future events in the near future that we'll be hosting. Thanks again. And yeah, we will be posting all the Q&A also in the Slack channel as well. So thank you, Dennis, Veronica, for hosting a great session. Love the content. It was really valuable. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.
Take care.
Thanks all. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.